points for Chris Golding. This is extraordinary. The anticipation in the building. This is unbelievable.
10,000 in the house for Sunday afternoon hoops as Melbourne hosts Adelaide. It's a top four clash featuring some of the biggest stars in the country. Chris Golding is coming off his sensational 46-point game, while Montrezl Harrell has taken the league by storm. United against the 36ers in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Hello and welcome to John Cain Arena. I'm Nerily Meadows, Andrew Gaze and Derek Rucker alongside me as we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder. This one, I feel like, is going to be fun. Top four clash.
Well, it's going to be massive. We've got two of the best offensive teams in the competition. Melbourne United are the best. Adelaide love to score. They're entertaining. They get up and down. But how will you win this game? Adelaide must defend the basketball better than they have all season long. There are plenty of stars with plenty of offensive power, Andrew. I don't know how Melbourne United handle this onslaught that they'll get from the Sixers.
No, well, Melbourne United, they like to shoot the three ball, and that has not been an area of expertise for the Adelaide 36ers on the defensive end.
Right.
Defense has been a key for the Adelaide 36ers in the sense that they need to do better. There's no questioning their offensive talent. But this man on your screen, Chris Golding, he put on an absolute show for the ages last week. I was here calling it in awe of the great man. 25 points in a quarter. And Derek, most of them come in a 3.5 minute span.
In that third quarter, and keep in mind, Perth were dominating the first half, but they came out of the change rooms. Chris Golding was an entirely different person. He got all types of buckets. Great distribution also by Delhi. Give him some love. But Perth, you got to do a better job. Chris is a superstar, and that was a historic performance, Nerily.
Indeed it was. Let's take a look at some of the records that he managed to achieve up against the Perth Wildcats. Third most points in the 40-minute era, tied second most three-point attempts in NBL history, most three-point attempts during the 40-minute era. The list goes on and on. Can he back it up though, Gazy?
Well, it's always a challenge when you've had a big game. You know your opponents are going to be up and in your grill the entire game trying to take it away from you. And also, Derek, you're dealing with your own head. Coming off that game, you start to think about your shot a little bit more than perhaps you normally would, so it will present some challenges.
Yeah, but he's such a great player, and the way Melbourne United are performing right now, I think they'll be looking to feed the ball to him a lot.
There's another record that I was keeping my eye on. All-time most points in a game, age 35 and over. How about this? Derek Rucker first and third. Our own Andrew Gaze comes in at 7. But let's take a look at those minutes, Derek, putting you on the spot. CG 43 did it in 32 minutes.
Nerily, let me enjoy my moment, please. Thank you very much. When I first received this graphic earlier in the week, it got me emotional. I didn't know what was going on. I was envious. I was sad that my career was over. But more importantly, I was happy to be on top of you on that list.
Well, hang on a second. When he says, when I saw this, he's the one that did the research for it. He was scouring the internet, trying to find something where he could get on top of me. But no, you matured like a very fine wine.
Thank you, Andrew.
What we really want to see is CG drop 50 tonight, knocking both of these blokes off. But how about this, man? Montrezl Harrell, he has taken this league by storm, as we said right off the top. The fans are loving him, and he's going to be mic'd up again today, so another reason to tune in for the broadcast.
He's strong, he's athletic, he's skilled, and he is a great showman. He has lifted the fortunes of the Adelaide 36ers this season almost single-handedly. And Andrew, the exposure and the recognition he's brought to the NBL makes a couple of guys like us very proud as well.
Yeah, he's a walking double-double, and let's not forget when he's on the floor, they're a plus 68. When he is off the floor, they're a minus 88. He is big time for the Adelaide 36ers.
Challenge though ahead with no Jack White out there defensively for Melbourne United. Let's head courtside now. Steph Baumgartel, tell us a little bit more about the injury for the United star.
Thanks, Nerily. Great to be with you courtside this afternoon. Jack White missing today after scans confirmed a calf strain. It's somewhat positive news given we know he has a history with Achilles injuries. Even better for United fans, he should only miss today with a very well-timed FIBA break. We spoke with him earlier. He says he's in a good headspace about the injury. injury, but that he admits he would have loved to put on the green and gold next weekend for Australia. It does mean he gets a little bit of extra recovery time, and today's Melbourne player Tom Coppins gets his chance in Luke, coming in Jack White's absence.
Great stuff, Steph. Well, also joining our team today, it's a very good afternoon at Matty Russell. Matty, great to have you part of the team.
Great to be here, Nerily. Thank you very much. Big crowd, as you've touched on, two hot teams, in-form stars. What a way to start your Sunday doubleheader, round 9. Hungry Jacks NBL. Kyle Bowen given his first starting role of the season by Dean Vickerman in the absence of Jack White. Game 50 for Kyle, so too Tanner Krebs at Melbourne, and Montrez Harrell gets up and about first.
Right away, a good little set there. They got a brush green from Harrell, and he went right at Bowen, finished definitely with the right hand off the glass.
We've got 4 consecutive 20-point games as they go to Chris Golding, as you'd expect, to see if he can continue on. 4 consecutive 20-point games, which is the most in the competition right now.
Here he is again, guarded by Kyle Bowen, as advertised by Melbourne. They said they'd put Kyle on Montrez Harrell. They need to put someone on DJ Vasiljevic, Melbourne, because he's out of the blocks early as well. Bowen for Golding. Kyle Bowen left all along. It's not his range. He leaves it short. And now Shayili forces the foul on Kendrick Davis.
And Andrew, Kyle Bowen's got a big role to play today. We've already seen defensively what his matchup's going to look like. We look at the Amy replay, and Bowen technically does a good job, but sometimes theory doesn't match reality. You got to be a little bit tougher defensively against that guy.
No, that's for sure, and it's not just him they have to worry about. They got 3 of the top 10 scorers in the competition are wearing white jerseys this afternoon.
What?
Chris Golding with the reverse off the glass, and sometimes when you're hot, you just seem to be able to get those lucky rolls.
Guri, I'm glad you raised it. You had a career-high 60, Derek, you a career-high 51. How did you approach the game after a big score like Chris Golding finds himself playing today? Kendrick Davis, have a look at the target and misses, because it can be tricky, as you've touched on pre-game, Guri.
Yeah, it can.
Andrew, I'm sure I can speak for the both of us, as Rob Lowe knocks one down. He's been in good form, but after a big game, Matty, of 50-plus, you're coming back trying to get 50 the next game, too.
My word, but you didn't have to deal with Leonard Copeland. He was often a little upset. Takes like 2 many shots.
Montrez Harrell checks his feet, lets rip, leaves it short. And it falls comfortably for Kyle Bowen and United. So 5-4 to the home team, who have a dominant record against Adelaide, especially at John Payne Arena. Shea Illy off the mark as well, and the rebound collected for Isaac Humphries. They've won 17 of the 20 contests in this gym. Melbourne against Adelaide, 17 of 20.
Dominant record, obviously. But let's not forget that Melbourne United have been one of the premier teams over the past 5 to 10 years. The Adelaide 36 is not so much. So it's you look at this, and Isaac Humphries is a big barometer as well. When he gets it going, and you throw in those other 3 elite scorers, it becomes a real tough proposition, because you can't help. And we all know the game's heavily favoured towards the offense, and if you can't offer a lot of help, it becomes a whole lot more difficult on the defensive end.
Shea Illy makes both at the line after 4 double-figure hauls for Isaac Humphries. He's been a little skinny over his last 3 games, returns of 6, 4 and 8.
And you saw Jack White on the screen. How do they deal with those 13 points, 10 boards or thereabouts that he provides? It's huge what he brings to this Melbourne United team.
The first adjustment is putting Kyle Bowen in there to start. They did enough on DJ Vasiljevic to have Adelaide empty with that possession, but Harrell goes to work on Shea Illy. Melbourne win the battle, and Bowen in transition. Dellavedova, fresh from a 12-assist game. Now he has some points as well.
He's been very good this season, shooting the ball exceptionally well. an NBL career best. But Andrew, this matchup right here is massive for Kendrick Davis. He's got to get the better of Shea Ili as he attacks the bucket.
Montrez Harrell from outside. Off target from three-point land early to start this one, Montrez.
It's his second look. They're almost willing to concede him that three ball and see if he can prove that he can knock it down on a consistent basis.
Ian Clark about to come in for Dean Vickerman. As you see, Isaac Humphries unable to cash in though, Drewy.
They've got good looks inside. That's twice now for Humphries. The intent is correct.
Dellavedova off the glass, effective.
Well, this has been symbolic, really, of the Adelaide 36ers. Their offense speaks for itself, but from time to time, their defense can be found wanting. And so far, early on here, they haven't had a formula. It's been pretty easy to get good shots for Melbourne United.
Melbourne United having won 5 of their last 6, Adelaide 3 of their last 4. You wouldn't know it in the last few possessions from Adelaide. Stuck on 4 points, the 4 early points. Now Ili brings low on the ball and the big man shows a soft touch.
They're sharp offensively, Andrew, and exploiting a poor defensive team. Adelaide need to lift the defensive focus and intensity. Otherwise, this was going to get ugly. Take us through the Amy replay.
Well, they're really conscious of trying to fight over the top, and that time it's the back cut, overplay by Davis, and Isaac Humphries in that drops position, but Rob Lowe with a nice touch. That's another relatively easy one for him.
We wondered how Chris Goulding would approach this game off the back of his 46 points, his 9 made threes. Narrowly asked him pre-game.
I know you're always team first, but did you watch the highlights at all and just have a nice smile to yourself?
Oh, I've been tagged in a lot of stuff. So, yeah, it's hard to avoid completely, but, you know, we watch review, we watch all our clips, and saw a lot of things I did wrong early in that game as well, so it's pretty humbling.
Your daughter about to turn 4. Is she old enough to understand yet?
Oh, well, I didn't talk to her about how many points Daddy scored, but she asked if we won, and I gladly said yes. And yeah, I woke up this morning, she was already up, and she was hyped about coming to the game, so I'm excited to get to play in front of her.
And she's here, little Genevieve, GG, growing up in front of our eyes from Bub when she came, and now 4 years of age already. Dad, back end of his career, but still delivering big time. And that 46 points standing out like a beacon, the biggest return since NBL 2013-14, when a man called Chris Goulding did it again.
At 50, wearing the mighty Melbourne Tigers jersey.
The Hawaii 5-0, as you look at Montrez Harrell jump over the top of Melbourne's.
Oh, this is
Coppins.
This is a surprise to see Coppins in this early, and he's up against the former 6th man of the year, and here's Coppins just at the very start of his career and has played limited minutes. So Dean Vickerman prepared to throw one of the youngsters out there to have a crack against Terrell.
With Harrell at the line, let's go to Steph Baumgartel, who was listening into Mike Wells that last time out, Steph.
Yeah, he said they're too slow offensively. He wants them to speed up the process a little more. They're also going to look to DJ to make up the deficit.
Thank you. 13-6, a handy break for the home team early in this one. The halfway mark of their season, the runner from Matthew Dellavedova, nothing but nets.
And Andrew, with the injury to Jack White, I would have suspected that Marcus Lee would have gotten the start today.
Yeah.
Especially given the power of the 36ers front line, but now he's only checking into the game, so perhaps a little bit of timing-based substitution.
And it's also now he's guarding Montrez, and Coppins has got to deal with another big body, Jarrell Martin, and that's where Marcus Lee is best on the defensive end. He can protect the rim, and with Montrez missing those 3 balls, and they're prepared to allow him to shoot it, he can drop right off and just be that rim protector. So it's I think it's got more to just to do with the matchups and how they wanted to play. Detch comes out. as soon as Chris Golding comes out. I suspect you're going to see like for like. I think they want to have Sunday guarding Chris most of the time.
Marcus Lee guarding Montrez Harrell. Marcus, and the clock expires. Harrell lost his mind on the clock. Clock violation. It's a frustrated Montrez Harrell trudging back in defence. Yeah, Marcus Lee, big block a moment ago. Encouraging numbers over his last few games out of a championship at Tasmania, back for his second stint at United, and now it was Dellavedova looking for his big man in Lee. Kendrick Davis out of control into Tom Coppins.
He's looking at Dean Vickerman, the youngster.
Like, are you going to get me out of the game now?
Or are you going to review it?
No.
Coppins, have a look.
No.
He's unlucky. He goes straight up, and Davis does exactly what he's supposed to do when you're up against a bigger body, and that's go into the body of the defender. Hang on.
Beck Allen in the Reebok seats, the World Cup medalists, WNBA star with the Phoenix Mercury, and commentary star. We heard her yesterday.
Nice debut.
Against New Zealand. Covering your Saturday NBL action. Great to have Beck the ball on a Sunday. And look at this from Kendrick Davis.
Got his hips by Clark's hips with ease. And Davis needs to exploit these minutes when Illy's not out on the floor, Andrew. Get some rhythm. So when Illy comes back in the game, as in right now.
Well, I think that's mainly because he saw, Dean Vickerman saw what's going on. He doesn't want Davis. Now, that's going to be hard. It's in transition, so it's not exclusively on Ian Clark in that situation, but straight away, they want Shea Illy back in to try and make sure that Davis doesn't start to feel good about himself and get things going.
So big minutes, you're right, Andrew, for Tom Coppins, the 21-year-old. He's only played 4 minutes total all season across 3 games. This is the 7th of his career in his second year at Melbourne as a development player. But into the lineup for Jack White with Kyle Bowen starting. Yeah, big early minutes, Tom Coppins. 6'7".
Smart play there by DJ. You've got to respect that shot fake. You can't leave your feet, though, as you go to potentially contest it. Clark did, and DJ just slightly lunged into him to draw contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot 3. And these points right here, early in the game for a score, could be invaluable.
Well, they are. Any point against Melbourne United, they're one of the elite teams in the competition. Sends an 83% free throw shooter to the free throw line. And there's no doubt that DJ jumped into the defender, but if you go onto your left or your right, you don't get away with that. But because he jumped straight forward, he got away with that, with the hard closeout by Clark.
Bowen finds Clark, who goes hard into Davis, no whistle. Turnover, and DJ Vasiljevic off the glass unsuccessfully. Martin misses the putback, and now pulling up. Ian Clark nails the 3.
Smooth as silk, Andrew. One of the prettiest shots in the league.
That was not so pretty, Derek. Big Montrez Harrell hitting the deck over the baseline.
The pace of this game, both teams really prepared to push it on the offensive end. We haven't seen a whole lot of half-court offense, but it's entertaining, and it puts enormous pressure on your defensive transition.
Montrez Harrell at the line makes his first. His last 4 scores, 22, 36, 25 and 25 on each occasion, above 50, and more often than not, closer to 60% shooting, Andrew.
Well, a lot of it's around the rim. He's got a good connection with DJ in particular and Davis. The on-ball screens, he picks and dives. You throw it anywhere around the rim, he'll go get it.
But his poorest game this season is against Melbourne. 12 points on 3 of 9 shooting. Can United keep the clamps on Montrez Harrell second time around this season? DJ Vasiljevic told NBL Now this week that he wanted the defensive job on Chris Golding. Well, Golding's not out there for the time being. Vasiljevic lets rip from distance and has it rim away. Tanner Krebs finds Bowen. He hits from outside.
And if he can knock that shot down at about a 35, 36% clip, that will allow him to get more minutes because it will give that offense greater versatility.
Coming into the game, he was 5 of 8 from outside, is above 60% this season. Kyle Bowen.
Yeah, on a very low number of attempts. He's only going to take the ones that where he knows he's wide open. And you see, this is clear cut of foul you'll ever want to see with Shea Illy with the contact on.
Ben, did you come here this afternoon with an idea about who you thought would be the player of the game and match winner for their team?
Well, I thought, without a doubt, Montrez is going to be the guy just because of that Melbourne United front line just being a little bit thin. And I think purely from a physical standpoint, Andrew, yeah, it's really hard. It's a big challenge for a guy like Marcus Lee, who is slender, and Harold just has a lot of leverage and athleticism that can give him problems.
Yeah, for me, it was going to be about Adelaide's defense. They've proven they can put the ball in the hole, and they score well, but that looked a little bit vulnerable from time to time.
They force a turnover there. Jarrell Martin, his 5th game back from injuries, plural. Patella into foot. Patella tendon into a foot injury. And it's Melbourne's ball.
We talk about that defense. Adelaide have won their last 11 games when they've held teams to 90 points or below. So 90 is the number. They're going to get theirs. Even with what you're seeing now, it's pretty low scoring, but you just feel that there's too much offense out there that they'll get it going.
There's some offense.
Well, Andrew, to go with what you're saying, Melbourne United are the fastest paced team in the competition.
Yeah.
So they're going to continue to attack Adelaide, and can Adelaide's defense withstand persistent offensive surges from Melbourne United?
Foul called on Kyle Bowen. Just back to that 90-point magic figure, you're right. Adelaide winning their last 11 when conceding fewer than 90, but Melbourne have won their last 7 when scoring more than 90.
Yeah, well, 90 is the number for both their teams then. Quite clearly, that's what the data suggests.
Oh, now you like the numbers? Now you like the analytics?
I always like the analytics,
okay.
Except when it meant, you know, sitting a few players down from time to time, which I don't quite understand, but this is important for the Adelaide 36ers is what they do from the free throw line. They get there a lot.
They're there a lot today.
They get there more than most other teams. They have all other teams. They're first, and they've already had 12, and they've made 9 of them. So they shoot it at 73%. When you're getting that many, they keep that number up. There's some easy points for them.
And they're playing catch-up for most of the first quarter. Golding with the miss. Final minute of the opening term. Two clubs who turned on that gripping 2018 Championship Series, the grand final showdown over 5 games, decided here. What a series that was. Melbourne, Adelaide, each team holding serve at home before United won it. Game 5 right here. Marshall gets his own rebound. Now, Isaac Humphries, the spin move over Marcus Lee.
Very nice move despite the travel. Big bucket there from Humphries. Yeah.
Good eyes, Gary. Now, Golding forces the foul on Sunday Ditch.
Drew, can we talk about these pin downs and screens that Golding's coming off? We've seen it now for years, but in particular over the past few rounds, they're utilizing them very well. Defensively, push him away from the screens one time to see how they react to it.
I agree with trying to top block him and not let him go that way. He has gotten really good at the back cut, so you are exposed a little. But when you're doing that, if he does get over the top of the defense, I like the fact you're locking him and trailing and can swipe from behind, which I think is key, rather than what Perth tried to do is very sound. What they were trying to do is switch a lot of those down screens.
And that's all well and good what you're saying, but I'm talking more from an emotional perspective, what it does to the Melbourne United team and this crowd when he hits threes.
Yeah.
I'd rather him get a layup than knock down a three and get this crowd lifted in the team.
Yeah,
and that's what you got to avoid.
Couldn't agree more. Easier said than done. He's been doing it a long time.
Early behaviour warning on the Melbourne bench. While Chris Goulding was taking his free throws. Jason Kadee, it's his shot. And he drops his first attempt of the afternoon.
Caught Flynn Cameron sleeping.
Turned his head right at the wrong moment. And the veteran Kadee made him pay.
Shot clock off. Ooh. Final possession, opening term. Goulding thought about pulling up. Now he does. It's off the mark.
And great recognition by Davis to help out. If they're the sort of threes Chris Goulding's going to take, the Adelaide 36ers are happy for them to take them.
Number two from outside in the first quarter.
That is incorrect.
Siren went off too early. So they'll replay this. They'll put the time back on. The clock doesn't start until the person inbounds has touched the ball.
They ran a little old school trickery there on the inbound. You have the
We're not allowed to. It's a violation.
Well, were they allowed that?
It was a violation.
Well, I think they're talking about that now.
You can do that on a made basket.
After made basket on the air ball, it should have been a spot inbound.
It should have been a violation on the part. Are you allowed to do that? It wasn't a made basket.
That's what they're debating. That's what Dean Vickerman is telling the officials.
And I think Dean Vickerman's case is correct.
Be quiet. It's okay. I know you want to make sure you get the ball.
Yeah, I'm sure this has got to be Melbourne ball.
On the out of bounds.
Michael Allen, James Gagoul, Travis Stewart, our officials today. It is going to be Melbourne ball. They have 1.4 seconds to get a shot away. It's Chris Goulding. And on cue. 1.4 is plenty of time for the league sharpshooter to go to quarter time with a spring in his step. Melbourne jump out of the blocks, 29-22. They lead Adelaide by 7 at John Cain Arena. Matthew Dellavedova, part of a hot start by Melbourne United. He made 3 of 3 in the first quarter, and that was the springboard Melbourne used to ride to this lead at quarter time. Mike Wells with plenty to ponder during the quarter time huddle. United 29, 36ers 22. Lear out there to start this second quarter. Rob Lowe says, leave me alone, I'll casually drop 3.
Drew, this isn't good enough on the defensive end. They're not committed to stopping Melbourne United or trying to make things somewhat difficult for them. This whole mindset on the defensive end from the Sixers must change immediately.
And it seems like their rules, they're just breaking down. There's no way in their scouting report they said let Rob Lowe shoot 3s wide open. It's just a miscommunication, or someone didn't abide by the rules.
Martin leaves his shot short. Good chance for United to build on a 10-point lead, now the biggest of the game. There's Delhi's first miss of the contest. Yes, Adelaide might have the best three-point percentage in the league, but as you've touched on, Andrew, they're also giving up the most threes in the league, more than 11 per game. And there are a couple that have been too easy already in this one. Foul called on Jarrell Martin.
What? 23?
Look back at this bucket at the end of the first quarter. Golden comes off of this screen, and look at the degree of difficulty of that. Humphries with an outstanding contest. And Andrew, it takes us back to last year in the championship series. Same end of the floor. He hits a high ball, a clay ball where he doesn't dip it, a no ball 3, which I thought at the time was one of the 5 greatest shots I'd ever seen in the NBL. You agreed back then. Now you're changing your mind?
I think the degree of difficulty is right there when you can just catch and shoot and get it off that quick. You just got great,
which one was tougher?
Great instincts. Well, I have to go back over the past 50 odd years to sort of break it down. But well, we saw the greatest shot ever, of course, in the league with that Jack McVeigh game winner.
I don't think the Melbourne United fans watching at home exactly want to be reminded of that.
No.
Melbourne out by 11 as Vasiljevic and Humphries go to work. Basket counts, and Humphries will go to the line for an extra one.
Well, they're going to be really happy at the amount they're getting to the free throw line. Pick and dive, and they're now 10 of 13, I think, from the, well, it will be if he makes this one. It'll be their 13th free throw attempt. As I mentioned, they are number 1 in the competition. They average around 23 a game, unless, of course, you want to round it up, but they've already got the 13 attempts.
Dellavedova was looking for Lowe. Breaks down. Adelaide have lost their last 6 first halves on the road. They improved their starts when away from home. They've never won here at John Cain Arena when trailing at half-time, 0-18, so it's an important quarter, isn't it? Down by 8. The stats say Adelaide need to come back and find the front by half-time. Montrezl Harrell will help them do that if he can keep consistent.
It's another player that hasn't been used much throughout the course of the season, guarding one of the hottest players in the competition. Lear down low, trying to guard Montrezl Harrell. They're going to go to that as long as they maintain or can try and figure out a way to get that matchup, which is going to be really important for Melbourne United to be able to figure out how they guard Montrezl.
Well, I think that they just got to keep pushing at that purpose right there. Keep pumping it inside to Humphries and Harrell and put that type of pressure on Melbourne United. I don't think they can stay with them, Matty.
Well, let's jump into a Harvey Norman in the zone with a man who's electrified the NBL. He is box office. He's must-see TV.
Hey, turn the corner. Great pass, turn the corner. Great pass. I'm just saying, you turn the corner on that. He's so far back. You turn the corner. I'm setting that. Come off and look and turn the corner. Because now you got on the backside. You're great. That's a great pass. I'm just letting you know it's there. Hey, the clock start when the ball come in. That's what I'm saying.
547 NBA games for Houston, the Clippers and Lakers, Charlotte, Washington, Philadelphia. Then a knee blowout sees him come down under as he tries to get back to what he was showing before the injury. Montrezl Harrell, don't take your eyes off him. Where do you have him in the MVP stakes? Right here, right now.
Was in that conversation, and anytime you're averaging a double-double, it includes a 2 in front of it when it comes from points per game. You're going to be right up there. But I think he's still at an age where this will be getting the attention of a lot of NBA teams. And if you think of a team that wants to make a run during the playoffs and needs that grunt and grit and experience, and he shows that he can hold up health-wise, I suspect that he's going to get another opportunity in the NBA, which is a shame for us because we love having him here.
Oh, the putback. Aaliyah. Some springs in the legs for the catch, Aaliyah. Putting a lid on it. 35-27. United over Adelaide. Second against fourth. Both teams just the one defeat in recent weeks. On both occasions, it was against the Breakers. They've both been taken down by the team on top of the table as Harrell starts to find his rhythm.
And that's the matchup we're talking about. They're going to continue to go to that, I suspect.
He's dealt it over.
And Aaliyah, that's two. We got the tip dunk the one before. That time, Montrez just relying on his athleticism, doesn't get a body on the defender. See, that time he's there for the help, somewhat excusable. And then down the other end, at mid-range.
No, Chris.
I love this on the Amy replay. Montrezl Harrell likes to score, but likes to celebrate a score even more.
Don't hold here, Nick.
1, 2. Clark. Gets away from Aaliyah, courtesy Aaliyah's screen, but they can't score. The difference is 6. Kendrick Davis retreats beyond the perimeter, now drives again, finding Harrell, Montrezl Harrell. The score with 1 to come.
Outstanding play by Kendrick Davis. Could have forced it a little bit earlier, but he was patient, let the floor spread organically, then exploited Rob Lowe off the bounce and delivered a nice wraparound pass to Harrell. Sixers back into this one.
Montrezl Harrell has gone through his NBA record. He was the NBA's best sixth man, 2020. And what about the numbers he's put up already this season? 36 against Cairns, that's point scoring obviously. 16 rebounds, also against the Taipans. He had 6-0 boards against Sydney round 4. No, he can't have the free throw there though. 35-31 looks a much better scoreline for Adelaide fans.
Just 2 hands straight away. First and 2.
It was at quarter time, 29-22.
Nick Marshall will spend some time trying to keep Chris Goulding under control. Chris got 10 points already. I have doubts as to whether Marshall is up to this.
Illy finds Goulding. Good look for Chris Goulding. He can't score. Davis finds Harrell again and again. Harrell draws the foul. It's on Rob Lowe.
Good play, smart play by Davis. It was definitely a foul. Davis doing a good job. Gave him a little Chris Paul. You don't know about that, Drew. That wasn't in your repertoire.
Well, it was by accident. Every now and again you fumble it and try and play it off like you meant to do it, but it was, it's impressive. Davis is quick. He can get to the rim. You got to respect the perimeter shot. Even though he's only shooting it at 32% from the three-point line, he's shown that he can get going from deep.
7 points, 5 assists already. And Adelaide have just methodically worked their way back into the game. Been nothing special, just a lot of Montrez.
Getting stops. They've got stops. And again, it's getting to the free throw line. Good attack on the rim.
Harrell, 1 of 2 there. He's a 67% free throw shooter this season. We encourage you to download the NBL app. Just scan the QR code. Go in the running to win $1,000. As Melbourne just steady a little.
Well, Montrez, he missed the assignment. There's an on-ball screen. Now, look, DJ gets whacked on the screen. Montrez is too deep when it's Ian Clark coming off. You can get away with that maybe with Matthew Dellavedova or Shea Ely. You cannot get away with that if that's Ian Clark coming off. And they get it back.
Foul was on DJ. Bumping low on the dive. And now Melbourne United get another possession out of it.
There's that QR code. NBL app. We encourage everyone to download. Clark unsuccessful. Adelaide down by 5. DJ Vasiljevic. DJ, the one-handed finish.
That's an underrated aspect of his game, his ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. Probably needs to look to do more of it as Clark pulls up from deep again. Clark finding his way into the game. Andrew, you're disgusted by the pick-and-roll defense.
It's like you say, it's a little tougher in transition, but it's Ian Clark. This is a guy that's renowned for what he can do. And the on-balls, you've got to be up and in, but Melbourne United have not been able to find a way to keep the Adelaide 36ers out of the paint. Too deep. Again, it's Montrez just parked in the paint. And down the other end.
And look at the foul. So Rob Lowe hit the deck in that Amy replay. Only now is attempting to get back to his feet.
Caught a flailing left elbow from Davis as he goes up and
His arm doesn't flare out. He just catches him next to him. Hey! Good to go. We're good.
So Rob Lowe back to the bench. Service and repairs. He'll go straight to the rooms. Ian Clark. Krebs to Clark, and Clark can't hit this time. Good rebound for Tanner Krebs. From a long way out, gave it a good look. The rebound falls for Jarrell Martin.
He drew a key play phase here with no Rob Lowe to provide a lot of the bulk. Adelaide got Harrell and Martin out there as a chance for them to really go to work or continue to go to work in the paint.
Adelaide have stopped Melbourne from getting away. DJ let rip from the Bunnings sign. Bowen for Krebs, the voice in the background, Dean Vickerman. Tanner Krebs lets rip with a 3.
He's had a serviceable season, Andrew.
No, he's yet coming off an outstanding season in the NBL1 where he just lights out, and he's carried a lot of that shooting form into this NBL season.
Vasiljevic. Montrez Harrell thinks about passing. Decides to take the shot unsuccessfully. 4 minutes left in the half. Melbourne's break is back to 7. Clark drains another 3 to make it 10 the difference.
Right, so this is a problem. Their ability to guard the three-point line. That technically the second worst at the guarding it just on three-pointers made, and that's Melbourne United's 8th three-pointer. They're 8 of 17, and on average they give up around
11.
about, yeah, you might even be able to average that out a little higher, but it's too many.
So they're on target to go way beyond the number of threes they've been averaging in terms of conceding this year, Adelaide. They've got to tighten up their perimeter D.
And the ability to defend on the road is a major determinant in how a team will thrive in the postseason. And you'd like to see signs that you can do it during the regular season And right now, Adelaide is just unable to do it. We saw Southeast Melbourne fail a similar test Friday night out in Perth.
No, that's right, and they can't match it down the other end either. They don't take as many threes, but Melbourne United do. Melbourne United, they are prepared to let it fly from the three-point line. They're third at 32 a game, and there you see when you're that efficient all over the court, they're 50% in total, almost 50% from threes. And it just seems a highly reactive, somewhat passive defense by the Adelaide 36ers.
Let's go to Steph, who is listening in to Mike Wells in that timeout.
Sure was. His message was clear. He says we're fine, but there is no way we can let Ian Clark catch that ball and shoot.
He looks troubled still, Steph, despite having his say a moment ago. So Melbourne by 10. Jarrell Martin. He can't drop the triple. And Flynn Cameron. Cameron looks inside, finds Marcus Lee. And he attracts the foul.
Good discipline there by Flynn Cameron. I thought he should have let it go. Instead, he finds Lee inside, who isn't a great free throw shooter, but right there, Cameron has a good look at it. And Lee will go to the line and shoot two.
Missing the first.
One job here, do your job.
Last round, a double for Melbourne, 2 games. They played Perth, Brisbane. Marcus Lee, 4 of 4 against Perth, 3 of 3 against Brisbane, throwing rebounds, assists. Very handy contribution for Melbourne United.
Adelaide, you got 6 players, do something.
This is the second time now the Sixers haven't communicated on substitutions.
They're just working out their stuff.
Sunday Detch for the 36ers. Off that 93-79 win, a 14-point victory against Illawarra last game. Harrell, the handoff for Vasiljevic, who probes inside, fades away, shoots and leaves it short. Kadee gets it back.
The past couple of minutes, Andrew, Adelaide's offensive purpose is undefined as Harrell gets to the rack. They've got to be more disciplined on the offensive end. They get carried away. They're not playing at the Adelaide Entertainment Center where things are free-flowing and you get yourself feeling good. This is a total different venue, and you must adapt and play a different style of basketball.
You do, and you got to pick your times as well. And it's on-ball screen, pick and roll has been predominantly what they're doing, and they get to some dribble handoff action, some zoom action, but not a whole lot of cutting going on for the Adelaide 36ers to loosen the defense up.
There's been a second foul called on Marcus Lee. Montrez at the line. We've seen him often in the first half. And the second one jumps out. 3 burgers for everyone in Victoria, courtesy Montrez Harrell and the good folk at Hungry Jack's. Upsets is the code word. Steadying bucket for Melbourne at 49-36. It's back out very quickly to a handy break for the home team. Montrez Harrell on the move. He forces a 3rd foul on Lee, who might need to take a seat.
Well, that's a big play right there. Even though Adelaide are down double digits, Rob Lowe will have to come back into the game. He's been serviced, looks good to go.
Well, they're sending, and when you've got 2, it's one of those fine lines between, well, you just concede there 2, because it's going to send well, in this game anyway, a poor free throw shooter. He's just missed 2. He's 3 of 8 from the free throw line. Make that 3 of 9. And he's thinking about it.
I know what Derek's thinking. If he misses back-to-back free throw doubles, do we get to upgrade the cheeseburger? No is the answer, Derek.
Well, they got a little dessert number they're running with now at Hungry Jack's. But would be worthwhile.
Mute point anyway as Montrez makes the back end. So he's 4 of 10 at the line. And Melbourne have a lead of 12.
And again, Adelaide were caught with 6 players on the floor. Andrew, can you talk to me about what's going on?
Well, right now...
That's 3 times they've been caught with 6 players on the floor.
Right now, there's confusion. Old school, when you're coming in, you're going to have to go point to someone and say, I'm coming for you. As
Cameron
knocks down another 3, and 9 of 18. It is too many makes and too efficient for this to be sustainable for the Adelaide 36ers.
Kendrick Davis ridden by Shea Illy. Krebs reached for the ball, got a piece of it, but Adelaide hold possession. Davis forces the foul on Illy.
Reach. -2. -2.
So Adelaide in the bonus, they're off to the line. Kendrick, a much better option at the stripe than Harrell.
Well, they've already had 20 free throw attempts. Now, they've only made 12 of those, and as a team, they've been a very, very good free throw shooting team, 78%, second in the competition, but they've struggled a little bit, mainly because of Montrez. But now it's 21, and they're going to be shooting, this will be their 22nd free throw attempt, Derek. That's a win for Mike Wells and the Adelaide 36ers.
Well, Andrew, they come into this game as the #1 team percentage-wise from the three-point line, shooting at a 38% clip. They're 1 of 8 today. And that's tough to match on the scoreboard.
Roblo just rolling to the rack. Back to the free throw shooting of Adelaide. First in the league for made free throws per game, up above 17 per game. What, they had 14 in the first half already. Humphreys for Nick Marshall. Back to his big man. That's comfortable for Adelaide.
Drew, what do you think Dean Vickerman's comfort level is right now?
Well, I think he'd be happy that he's been able to put 54 points up, and they've had moments where they've just blanketed the Adelaide 36ers.
Clinton Cameron, fresh from making a 3, tried for back-to-back. Now he rides Kendrick Davis illegally and commits the foul. Guess what? Adelaide are going back to the line.
Bad foul there. You got to be more disciplined, retreat, and now a technical foul on Shea Illy.
Shea just picked up a tech. There's going to be 3 free throw attempts now for the Adelaide 36ers.
So if they make all 3, they will have as many made free throws in the first half as they average for games so far this season, which leads the league.
That was an interesting play phase, and there wasn't as much contact on the replay as it looked in real time. Nevertheless, this is going to significantly impact how this first half ends.
So despite going to the line so much, Adelaide's poor perimeter defence still sees Melbourne ahead by 10 in the final minute of this first half.
Now, Illy has 3 fouls. Marcus Lee has 3 fouls.
Could be a concern for Melbourne in the second half. Dellavedova had a big start to the game. Looking for a good finish for this second quarter. Bowen. We told you at the start, handed his first starting role for the season. Kyle Bowen in his 50th game for Melbourne. He forces the blocking foul on Adelaide there.
It seemed like he was there quite a while. Let's have a look. Maybe he slid across when he was in the air. Maybe got there just a little late.
This is bang, bang.
Blocking or offensive?
Oh, I think that one was one of those ones that could have gone either way. It's hard to tell you, break it down. And did he slide under him while he was left before he left the ground or after he left the ground?
I think the more important question, was it close enough to warrant a challenge, and you probably say, nah, hold on to it. Let this one ride. Bowen knocks down 2.
.30 seconds to play. Kendrick Davis on the ball. Already this season, Melbourne have beaten Adelaide 106-79, a big margin. There's Isaac Humphries just cutting the current one back to 10.
7 assists for Davis.
Single seconds left in the first half. Look at Chris Golding. He finished the first quarter with a big bang, a long bomb. He does the same in the second quarter. Chris Golding bobbing up at just the right time to put the full stop on the first half. Melbourne 59 lead Adelaide 46.
Big time bucket from CG 43. Consecutive quarters where he wraps it up with a 3-ball.
5 players have double figures in the first half. One of them is standing by with Neroli.
I've got Rob Lowe alongside me. Do you ever get sick of CG43 doing things like that?
Nah, it's fun to play with him. He's just awesome.
25 free throws that they've had. How do you clean that up in the second half?
Yeah, we've just got to show our hands a bit better, be in the position a bit earlier and not give them those cheap, easy foul calls.
How's your jaw going?
What was that, sorry?
How's your jaw going?
Oh, it's fine. It was actually my cheek. Got strong cheeks.
Rest up.
Rob Lowe, really solid first half. Do they go on the job? If they do, they will hit the midpoint of their season at 10-4 in the top 2 and exactly where they want to be for a big finish to NBL 25. We're back with our first half highlights right after this.
All right, let me know if you got these in the 13, 14.
13, 14.
Yeah. Hey, can you see if you got those in the 13, 14? Yeah. I've been grabbing these too. I had these too. Yup. 13, 14, yeah. I always been a person that was big in the shoes. I always had a thing for, you know, sneakers, the sneaker collection, man. I used to watch all the shows and all the different inside the closets that people had and they showcased their sneaker collection, man. It was just one of those things that kind of became therapeutic for me. So my collection is crazy. I've been collecting shoes probably since my freshman year of college. So I have over anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 pair of shoes. Everybody has that thing that they're into, you know, so sneakers happen to be one of the things that I'm into. Sneakers, jewelry, and my old school cars. That's the three things that I'm probably spent the most of my money on. And then my fourth thing I'll probably say is like fishing. I got a nice sized John boat because I have a pond in my backyard back home in Georgia. I have my own like 2.5 acre pond and I stock with fish, bass, crappie, catfish, bluegill, you name it. I just, stocked it with fish because that's what I like to do. It's like kind of like my safe haven getaway. Adelaide is a great small city, but it's a quiet city and it's actually one of those cities that they get behind their sports teams, no matter whether it's men's, women's, football here, you feel me? They actually a real cultural group as far as pushing and being behind their organization and teams. And you feel that all throughout the city. We got a great group of guys, man. We're constantly still building. Every game that we have lost except for 2, I think we've been in the game, really. So, man, it's about stacking wins and continue to keep building, being better than you was the last game, pretty much. So, yeah, I definitely think we have the opportunity to be able to do something special for this club. I think we've had, 4 home games so far, and I think almost every one of them has been sold out, man. So it just goes to show you what this community, this place is striving for, something to, something that you can remember in the city and the place for, a lifetime to come.
NBL.com.au. Right now in John Cain Arena, though, it is 13 points the margin. Chris Golding nailing a couple of threes in both quarters right on the buzzer to make sure that his side is up by 13 points. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze alongside me. Every time the 36ers have come, Derek, United have just put a stop to it.
Yeah, Adelaide's inability to defend the basketball and reduce the number of high-quality Melbourne United looks is the reason why they're behind. 10 3-pointers for United. That's outstanding. Great shooting. And Adelaide, they're not going to be able to do the math and get back in this game, only making 1 3 in the first half. They've got to defend. They've got to slow the pace down a little bit more. And most importantly, they got to put the ball in the bucket from outside the 3-point line.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job. Kendrick Davis, he's got the 13 points, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. So they are getting into the paint and drawing fouls, but they need to be able to find that balance. And 1 of 8, they've struggled from the field, from the 3-point line. But when you look at Montrezl Harrell, he started off really strong. Around the rim, that touch, very, very nice. And the on-ball screens and him diving to the basket, the mid-range, he's got so many weapons that he can go to. Here he is, just playing with his food in the mid-range, but still able to rise up and knock it down.
Hungry Jack's highlights. Also, when he gets going, he brings the energy to his teammates as well. They need more of it.
Well, it's become a staple of how they play, working off of the vibrancy that he creates with his offensive productivity. He hasn't been able to knock down any threes, but Andrew, I'd like to see a bit more ball movement and player movement, then get the ball to Montrez off of cross screens, diagonal screens, get them in some pick and roll, a bit more activity throughout the team.
Yeah, and they might have to jump into Chemist Warehouse as well and get him some of those Blackmore vitamins to get a little bit more energy on the defensive end.
True.
Eric, because down at this end of the floor, he's been responsible for a lot of the action, particularly on balls. We saw Ian Clark a couple of times, and when he's guarding the screener, he's playing really deep, and they're exploiting him a lot. So some of that can just be energy, and when Chris Golding is in that frame of mind, that's his second really tough one to end a quarter. He's been fantastic. The 13 points, 4 of 8 from the field, continuing this rich vein of form he's in.
That's a solid comeback, Nez. You asked us at some point how we felt coming off of a big game. That's a really good first half from Golden without not trying to do too much.
And you saw those 3-pointers. The first one came with 1.7 seconds on the clock in the first quarter. The second one came as a buzzer beater in the second quarter. So it's dagger time for Chris Golding. But United up by 13, sorry. Can Adelaide fight back?
Basically like the little action while I'm pinning in DJ, they come to a corner, but I'm chilling. I gotta get that. I gotta get that. Yeah, I gotta get that, yeah. I gotta box him and get it. I ain't never seen that. I don't know what rule that is. I'm about to get pissed off, bro. For real. Come on.
Now Harvey Norman in the zone with a mic'd up Montrez Harrell. Dad put a silent L on the end of Montrez to make him stand out, and he certainly does that. Adelaide led this game 4-0. Melbourne went on a 13-point run after that and have been in front ever since. Melbourne making 10 of 23s, they saw at halftime. Golding 13 points, Clark 11, Lowe 10. Kendrick Davis and Montrez Harrell 14 points each. Thank goodness Adelaide got to the free throw line 25 times. You didn't miss him, 25 times in the first half. They trail by 13 as we go into the third quarter. This was the period where Adelaide hit quicksand when these teams met in round 4. Adelaide had only 8 points in the third quarter, 27 for the second half, to collapse after a barn-burning first half against Melbourne. Obviously, it goes without saying they need a much brighter third and fourth quarter here. Who's going to stand up? Is it Davis? Is it Harrell? Is it Isaac Humphries? Does DJ catch fire? You'll find out. I trust you enjoying the start to your Sunday hoops.
Well, Matty, hopefully as a team collectively, they begin to fire on the defensive end, because this end will be immaterial. Although I like the first possession they went with there, Andrew. They got Harrell on the dive cut and let him go to work on Bowen. He can make his free throws. That would help also.
Well, that'll do his confidence a lot of good making that first one. The form's not terrible. The form's pretty good. I think a lot of the times it can just be an energy thing or what's going on between the ears that can mess with you a little bit from the free throw line.
He's 6 of 12 now in this one. 50% well below his season average, which is approaching 70. So 59-48 Melbourne.
There was contact. No impact.
Kendrick Davis is the man.
Ball, please, ball.
That's his third, and there was contact, and he's a little stiff on that one. Really had no impact on.
I agree.
On the play to pick your third up, play like that, and they straight away they go to him to try and get that fourth.
Dellavedova's too cluey straight into Kendrick Davis without effect, luckily for Adelaide, and here he is. So technical foul on Mike Wells.
Well, Andrew, I think he may have cause here. I thought Dellavedova went into Davis, and then I thought there was an illegal screen.
And what else? Adelaide again a little stiff because it wasn't the official right in front of him that called the tech. It was the one on the other side of the floor that clearly didn't like his body language. It was aggressive.
So they're under siege here, the referees. Both sides of the court. Adelaide players really riding them, but it was the coach who picked up the technical.
Suggesting we've got a guy right in front, but it was the guy on the other side of the floor that called the tee.
Davis finds Harrell on the move, but he ran into a roadblock in Rob Lowe. Isaac Humphries, nice soft touch.
Now remember, Humphries had good looks early in that first quarter. He didn't capitalize on them. And he's going to continue to get those looks as Dellavedova pulls up in the paint, knocks down a little baby jumper over Humphries.
So it's been a nagging deficit for Adelaide for much of the game, up around the 10-point mark. Sunday Detch can't close that. Did everything that have the ball drop.
Having a career season from the three-point line so far, up at a career best of around 44%.
Clark. Goes to 13 points for the game, Ian Clark. Now Davis running into traffic. The Detch to underline that stat you just gave us, Drewy.
Well, the last one should have gone in, Andrew.
Yeah. That's as deep as a ball can go without going down. See, Matthew Dellavedova's come out in a real aggressive fashion, getting into the paint, making things happen. And how much attention are they going to put into Davis now and trying to see if he can play with those three fouls?
Bowen, back to Dellavedova. Still going. Dellavedova, fresh from those 12 assists. His NBL high, had 14 NBA assists as his career high in the States. Cleveland against Denver, 2020.
Same again, blue here.
What a player he's been.
Yeah, great vision. He's strong with the basketball. Got an assortment of finishes around the paint.
Golding, pull up for two. Over the top of the hole, and Kendrick Davis as Adelaide in transition. He's a little frustrated momentarily for the positioning of Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl looks a little fatigued.
2 shots called here for Adelaide. I'm with Melbourne. I thought he was passing the ball, but the referees have called fouled in the act of shooting. So Kendrick Davis goes to the line.
You see him using a little hostage dribble, elevates, and
no, that's, I can see that, yeah. I can see that Humphries was there, but that was close enough to a shooting technique that he deserved to be at the free throw line.
A chance now to get this lead down to 9.
And after that suspenseful finish, he's 12 of 13 at the line. Kendrick Davis.
16 points, 8 assists. High impact player for the Adelaide 36ers.
Clark goes hard, and it's an offensive foul. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to force a fourth on Davis, but that one was a little too heavy. What about this for theatrical effect at John Cain Arena? Ball one right on the chin. Kendrick. Vasiljevic to Harrell. Great finish. Bucket waved away.
Drew, I like that set they ran there. A lot for Melbourne United to deal with. Vasiljevic came off it. A little Spanish action. Then they had Harrell cutting out of the strong side corner.
Well, Lowe had to try and foul, and he did foul, and it's one that the Adelaide 36 preferred the officials had missed that one.
Correct. That's Lowe's third foul also.
Bowen with a big job on Montrez Harrell. Great move. And Montrez, a little look back, a shake of the head. He's great to watch. You'll have to do better than that. Was the thought bubble you could see above Montrez Harrell. So 7 the difference. Bowen catches the front of the rim. It falls for Davis. Can Adelaide go on a run?
And Andrew, I think that's why you snickered before at the 5 for 8 stat from the 3-point line.
Harrell loses it this time, straight into the grip of Chris Golding. Bowen puts it on the floor, finding Illy now, who drives inside, back to Bowen. Good basketball, Melbourne United.
Davis went over to help, and I don't think he needed to. Onto Humphries.
Wow.
Another turnover from Adelaide, but
a late call.
Late.
Bailout.
He called it tomorrow.
Very late call. Here's Montrez with the turnover. You see, Davis came in. He could have stayed at home. Humphries had him. If that happens, DJ, you saw him at the top of the screen. He needed to come back down to help out.
Bonus 2.
Shaylee sits on 4 fouls.
Melbourne United have foul trouble, Andrew.
5.
Illy with 4, Clark with 3, Lowe with 3, Lee with 3.
And it's 5-1, and you've got to play almost 6 minutes with playing in the bonus. So for a team that relies heavily on a lot of ball pressure, being really aggressive, might just have to be a little bit more conservative, because
now Davis has to make sure, now look, he is a young import. He's only 24 years old. He's playing with 3 fouls. He's having a high impact in this game. It's evident that they really are having problems containing him. Don't get over exuberant with your penetration and get caught in a block charge situation.
Yeah. So Melbourne riding this foul trouble situation. They've had 5 foul outs this season. 2 to Lowe, 2 Marcus Lee, 1 Chris Golding, and Flynn Cameron. He doesn't care about foul trouble as he knocks down a 3. Nerily Meadows, over to you.
Just watching Shea Ellie as he came to the bench there, just kicked the sponsorship, the LED, in frustrations. Very rare to see an emotional display from Shea Ellie, so he's frustrated.
Slight turn of the wheel in this game at the moment.
We've done a good job of guarding DJ for most of this game.
Golding! Oh, he was playing for the foul. Threw the shot up in hope. It dropped. He's going to the line for a possible 4-point play.
Look at the Amy replay. Comes off the lead. Take action. And Sunday dead.
We tried to get in front. If you're trailing, just stay and swipe from behind.
Or contest on the right-hand side of Golding's body. That's where the ball's going to be. I don't know where he's trying to get to there.
Well, he was trying to get in front, but to me, you got to just rely on whoever's guarding that screener. If he curls, so be it. Don't let him take that three. And there's a rare miss from the free throw line.
After the 21 three-point attempts last game, he's been more judicious with the three ball today. Chris Goulding, 3 of 6 from outside. 72-62. Melbourne on the verge of blowing the game open, but unable to do that. Adelaide keep chipping away and getting it back to single figures. Inbound from Dellavedova to Marcus Lee. Delhi pulls up for 3. He knocks it down, and the fans at John Cain Arena love it.
6-point possession, 2 threes. Goes from a 10-point game to a 13-point game in the blink of an eye.
Harold for Adelaide. DJ Vasiljevic back to his big man, who was on the move. Use the padding as reinforcement.
Can't
now
do that.
You got this. Walk away,
Montrez.
please walk away.
Chris!
24. Oh.
Come on, walk away.
It was in transition. Bowen, have a look. So he makes the play, but on the run back, Bowen cuts him off, and the swinging of the arm here in the back of the head, and he's unlucky. That's not unsportsmanlike.
He was off the turnbuckle, back
Replay
up,
centre.
caught in transition, and then couldn't help
on this
himself.
play.
Well, they're going to review it for an act of violence.
Normal foul, backcourt. Normal foul, backcourt. I'm just reviewing in the play.
When you make forearm contact to the head, albeit relatively minor. And look at this from Flynn Cameron.
We had that stretch during the season about 3 weeks ago where he really shot the ball well. And looks like he's picking up right there again as Bowen. Good hands, and now another incident in the backcourt.
Unsportsmanlike is the call. Jarrell Martin, frustration bubbling over for Adelaide. I've had a crack at Bowen. That was Harold the first time, then Jarrell Martin.
And Bowen's been really efficient in this game. He's 7 points and plus 21, Andrew, with 7 rebounds. We saw the potential last season and during the playoffs. And this is a stretch now with Jack White out of the lineup where he can start to gain in confidence and show Dean Vickerman what he's capable of doing in big games.
Yeah, it's expensive. Couple of possessions for the Adelaide 36ers and really unnecessary. Just a bit of self-control was required. Jarrell Martin, it's almost like a reflex action. You just turned it over and you're just trying to get it back. I don't think it certainly wasn't any malice in it. He just trying to fix the error.
Runs, Drew.
Yeah.
Cole Bowen, a 74% free throw shooter, makes both. Ball back. Melbourne will look to put the foot down here. Here's a man to do it. Goulding frustrated, he couldn't drop that. But United by 16. Davis. Now Marshall. Kadee back to Marshall. Shot clock to 5. Kadee will have to go. He made his first today, but not a second. Goulding likes the look. Off target for a second. 3 in a row. Beware Adelaide if he gets the third on the next possession. Jarrell Martin spins on Goulding. And Harrell is there to make sure there are points at the end of it.
They found the mismatch. And they good enough to get it there.
Good pass. Dellavedova. If this goes, It's basketball gold. A beautiful assist from Matthew Dellavedova and the young gun, the young tall black. Flynn Cameron makes sure of the dime.
Knocked down 4 threes off the bench, 4 or 5 to be precise.
Marshall shoots over the top of the hole.
The wheels are wobbly, Drew.
Again, it's Dellavedova for Cameron, and he draws the foul. No, double dribble. Double dribble called on Cameron.
Time out! Adelaide!
That hook pass we saw
Come
to
back,
Cameron.
side ball, count the basket.
He is not shy, full of confidence.
(83-66). Melbourne getting away now as they head in towards the fever break there. Midpoint of the season, they hope with a 10-4 record. If they close this one out, the fever break will give this man a chance to recover Nerily Meadows.
Yeah, I've got Jack White alongside me. Jack, how's the injury going? We saw you having a little bit of a workout earlier today. How's it looking?
Yeah, it's going really well. You know, as far as calf injuries go, got a good result from the scan. So, you know, it's all part of the game. It's not the worst one I've gone through. So, yeah, looking forward to getting back out there.
I know you were hoping to put the green and gold on next weekend, but is it almost a blessing in disguise that you only miss one game potentially in the NBL?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks not being able to go on the trip, but yeah, as far as NBL stuff goes, only having to miss one game and getting back and having that time to sort of recover and not rush anything, yeah, it's a good thing.
We know you love to get it done at both ends of the court. When Montrezl Harrell is doing what he's doing and getting physical, do you wish you were out there?
Absolutely. But, you know, I believe in my boys, TK, KB, the catch. You know, they've all been doing a good job. You know, he's a tough cover, obviously. He's been playing some great basketball. But, yeah, you know, it's a team effort against him.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
So no Jack White's today for Melbourne or for the Boomers on the fever break games against Thailand, South Korea. But out of this game, Chris Golding and DJ Vasiljevic, opponents today. They're about to be Boomers during the fever break. Brisbane's Bannon, young Furphy out of Tasmania, called into the team. Be coached by Jacob Chance. The fever break unfolds over the next fortnight. Jarrell Martin.
Well, he's one that really is going to get better as the season rolls on. We saw him a couple of seasons ago with the Sydney Kings, inside-outside presence. And coming back from injury, where he's got to get into shape. See the touch on the last couple of possessions. He could be a huge bonus for the second half of the season.
His 5th game back, Andrew, after significant time unable to train or play. Let's go over to Steph, who was listening to Adelaide.
Sure was. It wasn't so much Mike Wells with the commentary this time, though. It was Montrezl Harrell picking a fight with Jason Kidd. He was angry at Sunday Dash earlier, so clearly he's not happy with how things are going.
He's a competitor, and no one escapes his wrath when he's upset. More often than not, you know he's upset because he just glares. Something has ticked him off over the last few minutes, I think with his own club. Here's Dellavedova. The Kyle Bowen who thought about the 3-ball. Forces the foul on Adelaide. A little ragged right now, the visitors.
Well, they don't like the call.
DJ Vasiljevic is the man identified.
They'll burn it and go after it. And I think they feel, Andrew, it's a critical moment where they can make a push down 12 with just under 2 to go in the 3rd quarter. And this quarter has really been extended. High possession quarter.
For pushing Lee in the back.
It looked like it was his teammate that pushed him in the back from the angle we have. Be interested to see. Have a look at the replay. There's DJ who's trailed on it. But if the... Yeah, it's going to be a foul on DJ because he pushes Marcus Lee into Krebs. So the foul, though, was not on the shooter. It was actually, to me, when he pushed Marcus Lee. It wasn't a big shove.
It's messy.
But it's going to be interesting to see how...
Cancelled it.
So the Amy coach's challenge. Let's go to Michael Allen, listen up for this explanation here. So the timeout has been cancelled, according to Michael Allen. Will you learn something?
They've had 2 minutes. I've had to listen to Andrew talk about the play.
Not on the shooter. They were challenging the incorrect play. So we gave them the opportunity to rescind their challenge and keep their time out.
Okay, so they challenged because they thought the foul was on the shooter.
Keep your time out.
I thought this year, though, that they changed the rules slightly to be able to deal with those circumstances where it wasn't on the shooter, but if it was seen to be another action. So we probably need some help. They definitely have made some changes to it, but perhaps doesn't.
Well, I see a big loophole that's just been presented.
Well, that's right. There's a late call.
You're shooting. You are shooting.
Well, they effectively got an extra timeout.
They did.
Let's go.
So you can go and say, we want to challenge, and then say, oh no, we were going to challenge for this reason.
Well, let's get to Scott Butler in the replay centre for some clarity. Help us out, Scott. Come on in.
All right, guys, just to sort of clean this up a little bit. So at the time of the call, there was miscommunication about who the fouling player was and also who the receiving player was on the end of the foul. And because of that miscommunication, Adelaide have called the timeout thinking that there was a foul on the shooter, which actually was not the case. So because of that miscommunication, we've allowed them to pull the timeout off the coach's challenge and to restart the game. So
can the replay centre look at something nearby or an unrelated incident and make a ruling on that, or does it have to be the challenged incident, Scott?
Only the challenged incident, mate. That's it.
Thank you. Which is slightly different from other sports, but it's the way it works in the NBL.
DJ Vasiljevic attempted a three-point shot there where he thought there was contact, didn't get the call.
Krebs is looking for Marcus Lee, missed the mark. It's 85-71, 14 the difference, a minute 12 left in the third. Adelaide asked a question early in this third quarter, but Melbourne have steadied and preserved this double-figure lead they've held for most of the contest. As I mentioned, Adelaide scored the first 4 points of the game before a 13-0 run by Melbourne. Krebs gets away from Jarrell Martin, but can't finish. Good footwork, his hands let him down. Rick Davis leaves Cameron reaching for air.
It's slippery.
Very nice. Very nasty work on the baseline.
Well, he's up to 23 points, and he's only 4 or 5 from the field. He is 15 of 16.
9 dimes, 4 rebounds.
Coming into this game, he had 24 assists across his last 3 outings with only 4 turnovers. So he's slippery, he's got good hands. He's gone on with the assists this afternoon. Krebs. Again, he's got to deal with Jarrell Martin. Bucket is waved away. Didn't get the shot away in time.
Look at it!
Right in front of you.
There may be a little bit of time.
Got 1.4 on the clock.
Added here. I think they're saying 1.4. Andrew, if they could get they didn't even attempt a shot.
So we will roll into three-quarter time with Melbourne out by 12 still. Adelaide tried hard in that third quarter. They got it back to single figures, but it's a dozen the difference as we head into the fourth. You're watching the NBL from John Cain Arena. trash talk and a bit of physicality at times. Basketballers look like WWE. Kyle Bowen, Montrezl Harrell, Jarrell Martin, they've been going at it, man.
They have, and when you're banging bodies on that court over 40 minutes, frustrations ensue, and especially when you got a scrapper in there trying to make your life really difficult like Kyle Bowen.
And overall, it was not a bad quarter for Adelaide. Early on, it looked like this one could get ugly, but they end up winning the quarter by a point, 27-26.
Shayeli, the reverse layup doesn't go. He gets it straight back. And now Flynn Cameron. Another offensive rebound for Bowen. Melbourne won the first two quarters, 29-22, 30-24, before that 1-point win in the third. So 85-73, a quarter to play before we head to Brisbane. The Bullets against the Wildcats to wrap up round 9, Hungry Jacks NBL. Here's Jason Kadee. The Harrell. Offensive foul is called, and now there's a problem. Now there is a real problem. He's been seeing red for the last 10 minutes. And now Montrezl Harrell has exploded.
That's just an overreaction from Montrezl. That'll start this. I think Montrezl might find himself in a little bit of trouble here.
Melbourne reacted because they believed he'd lashed out with a foot on the ground.
No, the charge had his first thing. We're going to review the whole play.
I thought it was interesting that they called a charge on Montrezl. It looked like Lowe pulled him down. Have a look at the replay here. See the left arm? He pulled Montrezl down. So he's not happy about it. And then Montrezl just overreacts. And it all breaks into a little brouhaha after that.
There was no kicking motion at all, I hasten to add.
Illy comes in, and often that person is going to be penalized for escalating the whole incident.
Go back to the very first. It looked like Lowe pulled him down. So if I'm the Adelaide 36ers, this is worth a challenge. Left arm just pulls him onto him.
Well, there is contact at the same time, and this angle will show us better.
He just pulled him onto him.
Did the contact happen before or after the pull?
There was contact, but that was incidental contact. They're just two bodies coming together. And then the pull down, Shayeli flying the flag for his New Zealand.
If you deem the contact to be incidental, then the pull is very much at play. If you deem the contact to be significant, that makes the pull irrelevant.
But regardless of what happened, Montrezl can't react like that.
Approximately the same time, both same categories are personal foul.
Montrezl.
And that's going to be problematic.
Just a little slap to the face.
The face rake. And I think he goes again.
Definitely.
The open palm on the face.
I think we've seen incidents already this season where there might have been that type of action. That
Wouldn't call that a punch. That's not a punch.
No. He's just pushing away.
Someone off. There's a man who knows all about physicality. Brendan Favola loves it.
If you want to add some juice and some spirit into
Well, now Montrezl is going at the fans on the sidelines.
And this is getting really ugly.
This is getting nasty.
This is getting out of control as it spills over the sideline into the Hollywood seats.
Montrezl with some corporate folk on the sideline. Brad Newley, who was in a Melbourne United uniform, comes in just to try and settle down the corporates.
And Kendrick Davis being escorted away by CEO or GM Matt Weston.
Now Mike Wells yelling obscenities at the fans is not required either, and thankfully Mike now retreats.
Well, I suggest that the fans are going to be asked to be removed.
Well, we have a lot to deal with here. The hooded fan
Well,
building.
he brings the highlights, but these aren't the type of highlights we want to see from Montrez now.
And Mike Wells now is referring to what you were talking to, Andrew. He said he feels that Montrez was pulled down by Rob Lowe's left hand as Michael Aylen.
24 white. Double disqualified. 24 white, 51 blue. Baseline for blue. Illy is disqualified.
Wow.
Baseline blue.
Shea Illy, he's going to have a spell. He's tossed out, as is Montrez.
Yes.
So Montrez out of the game, and listen to the crowd at John Cain Arena. He'll be followed by Shea Illy now.
So, we're also reviewing the stuff that's happening here with the crowd. So just leave it with us.
So that is the on-court drama dealt with. Now they're dealing with the interaction with the crowd.
And it was hard from our perspective, Andrew, to see what happened in the celebrity Hollywood scene.
I was watching now, I couldn't hear what he's saying, but clearly the corporates were giving some feedback to Montrez that he didn't appreciate, and he decided to take it up with him, and it's... There you see it, Montrez with the slap, and he wasn't keen to, probably the right thing to do, depending on what the conversation was.
That will be for the club and NBL to act on, the interaction between players and fans, or players, plural, and fans.
Well, Drew, we've seen a lot of basketball over the years, and it's rare where you see that level of aggression from a fan.
Well, it is, and that's one of the privileges of coming to the basketball, is you get to be up close and personal, but you've got to know that you can't get involved in the emotion. You might be a passionate Melbourne United fan, but you can't be hurling abuse after an incident like that. Now, I don't know what was said, but clearly it was something said to Montrez that...
It's another day in the basketball. It's a quiet game for you.
Something said to
the fans to be ejected, for them to leave the area, and then it will be a Melbourne inbound after all of that.
Well, it's show and tell tomorrow morning. Those young fellows will have plenty to discuss.
And if you have the basketball picking on a player, I'd advise against antagonising 6'7", 110-kilogram Montrez Harrell, whose fuse is perhaps a tad shorter than some of the other players around the league. As I mentioned,
still a lot of basketball to play.
Plenty.
We've got a whole quarter virtually, and unfortunately for the Adelaide 36ers, they've lost arguably their most impactful player, and Kendrick Davis now has, with 23 points, has just picked up his 4th personal foul.
There's 9 minutes to play. It's only 12 points the difference. I know they've lost Montrez Harrell, but this game is still within reach of Adelaide.
It is, and at moments like this, you've got to get an equilibrium emotionally and get back to the task. And this game is still winnable for the Sixers. Obviously, Davis has to be smart. He cannot pick up a 5th foul, because then things become exponentially more difficult to get to the rim.
2015 NBA draft, Montrez Harrell and Jarrell Martin were both part of that. Picks 25-32 as Flynn Cameron lets rip with a 3 again. And they've sort of been hunting in tandem today as well, be it Flynn Cameron or the latest brouhaha with the fans, Martin and Harrell at close quarters. But now Jarrell Martin doesn't have his wingman. He's out there with Vasiljevic, Detch, Marshall, and Kendrick Davis.
Well, this is actually one of the beauties of having the depth they have at that position. That Jarrell Martin can come in. They've still got Isaac Humphries. But Montrez provides something unique in our competition. You can play that ISO ball from the mid-range, get to the rim, can score in a variety of different ways. And when you're playing catch-up, you'd love to have him out there. But Jarrell Martin can shoot the three. He can score in different ways.
And Andrew, in these first two possessions, we've seen how open the floor is without Montrez out there, and Davis has just danced his way through the paint. This game is not over, trust me.
8.5 left, 89-77. Both teams having their final outing before the FIBA break. Cameron looks down low, finds low. Bowen, Golding, Flynn, Cameron, he's been feeling it from that side of the court, but not on that occasion. Marshall, like the look and delivers on it. Back to single figures, 9 the difference. Adelaide still believe, 8 minutes to play. So 89-80, time for a Tangerine timeout. Dean Vickerman, no doubt just wanting to settle his team after so much over the last little period. It's 89-80. What's a key message here in Dean Vickerman's chat?
He's just got to settle his team down, draft a really good set coming out of this, build the defense back up again, because in this second half, Andrew, they've been a bit porous, and Adelaide are starting to find some rhythm. They're now shooting the ball at 52% from the field, the Sixers, and Kendrick Davis is looking really threatening.
Yeah, it's all game. His ability to take anyone off the bounce and get to the rim is elite. He works an on-ball as good as anyone. It's got to just find the balance of containing the motions and using what's happening with the brouhaha to your advantage, and hopefully trying to get that to generate some energy yourself on the offense and defensive end.
John Cain Arena, crowd around 10,000. 9 points the difference. The home team turns it over. Kendrick Davis couldn't get under the rack.
Well, they got away with one. That was a sloppy pass by Matthew Dellavedova, coming out, running, wanting to run their set.
Key minutes in the game right here. Adelaide fighting to get back in it. Golding loses the ball. Jarrell Martin comes away with it.
Great hands by Jarrell Martin.
Detch lines up the 3 ball. It's off the mark.
2 really good opportunities off of turnovers to cut into the margin, unable to convert.
Got the stop but haven't cashed in. They need another one here. Instead, the foul is going to be called on Nick Marshall.
Thanks, KD.
He gets his third for the game.
Thank you.
Before Montrez had been ejected, he played all but a minute and 20 seconds in the contest.
Next one up, low.
And Jarrell Martin checks out.
1 out, right. Thank you. 2.
Which is a little surprising for me. Made a couple of baskets. And Isaac Humphries comes back in. And Jarrell Martin on that on-ball screen. You see the difference between him and Montrez. Montrez very deep on the on-ball. That time, Jarrell Martin was up. He reached good hands, caused a turnover. And to me, that's a much better strategy when dealing with those on-balls when you've got elite shooters.
Well, I'm surprised we also haven't seen much of Lat Mayen, someone who's been really productive this year for the Sixers. He's only played a minute and a half.
Harrell ejected on 20 points, 7 of 11 shooting. Melbourne losing Shea Illy as well. And Adelaide hold possession here. Off Roblo, the block is DJ Vasiljevic. Probe baseline. Kendrick Davis, DJ Vasiljevic pulls up and hits the 2.
Well, they're hanging around. It's an 8-point ball game. And drawing on the momentum from the fracas that we saw.
Vasiljevic 11 points, 4 of 11 shooting. The foul is called on Marshall. That's number 4 for Nick.
That's just not a good play. There's no need to do that. The shot clock's winding down. You weren't that disadvantaged by the action. Just be smart.
What's flipped, hasn't it? We saw last quarter, it was Melbourne United that had to be cautious on the defensive end, but now it's the Adelaide 36ers with those 5 team fouls, means that it's going to send Melbourne United to the free throw line on all their defensive fouls.
Ian Clark checking back in for Kyle Bowen. Good change from Dean Vickerman. Oof, low. This is both. It's there for Adelaide. Down by 8. Kendrick Davis on the ball. Kendrick for 3.
Shit.
90-85, 6 minutes left.
5-point swing. Couple of misses from the free throw line. A 3-ball to Davis. And all of a sudden, things are getting a little tight for Melbourne United.
Golding with the settler as Marcus Lee about to check back in.
I like the play. They're really trying to overplay Chris Golding, so that back cut's going to be on.
Marshall went close with the 3-ball. A lap of honour and outs. Lowe puts it on the floor, goes to work on Jarrell Martin and gets a payday. The 2 with 1 to come.
Not a typical Rob Lowe move. He redeems himself in this Amy replay. Missed 2 free throws before. Gets to the rack. Nice finish for the big man. And just stunts that comeback slightly. Still plenty of time with 5:37 on the clock.
Melbourne plucked him out of a possible retirement. Good to see Rob Lowe at 33 years young, still doing it, averaging 17 minutes a game this season, 9 points, 5 rebounds. A very important member of this Melbourne United team, sitting second on the ladder. Vasiljevic fills it up.
And Drew Harrell being ejected from the game may have thrown Melbourne United's defensive game plan out of whack slightly, because now the whole shape of the Adelaide offense is different.
Well, that's right, and it's almost an attitude thing now. They feel like they're playing with their house's money and just letting things fly, and the ball's dropping. He is becoming a problem in the NBL.
Flynn Cameron, son of a gun.
I wouldn't say it's a problem. I'd say it might be an issue for certain teams.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He is creating some issues because he's knocking down the 3-ball with regularity.
Isaac Humphries frustrated at himself with that latest miss. A fade away from Matthew Dellavedova misses as well. Flynn Cameron, of course, about to return to Tall Blacks duty. His dad, Pero, was a star player and coach.
Wow.
Holding foul on Golding is the call. And
he did hook him.
Challenge.
And he's got it happen right in front of us. That is
gone.
A hook.
Bye-bye.
I'm not sure how you could possibly call a foul on Chris Golding. You see he's holding. His hands are in the air.
And I, with 100% certainty, Andrew, am going to declare that this Amy Coach's challenge
has to be one of the quickest ones for Scotty Butler and the team.
Which will mean the 2 leading scorers in the league coming into round 9 are going to be out of the game. Montrezl Harrell ejected into Kendrick Davis fouling out.
Although there was that little knee there from Golding. Right in there.
Ooh. But he's hooking. What happened first?
Well, this
Coach's challenge is unsuccessful.
The knee right there, Drew.
Yeah, okay. It was the knee first and then the hook.
So Kendrick stays out there. Adelaide stay alive. The coach's challenge is lost with 4.5 minutes left. Let's go back to Scott Butler, who's been a very busy man in the replay centre. Scott, in you come again, my friend.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the replay centre.
Welcome, Scotty.
So when you look at the baseline camera angle number 3, that gives you a really good vision of Goulding sticking his knee into the hip of Davis. That's the first illegal contact under play. That's the call that should be made.
Good
Well done, Scotty.
We appreciate your input as always. The voice of reason from the replay centre. Here he is, still out there. Kendrick Davis riding 4 fouls. And Adelaide's hopes riding heavily on his shoulders. Davis harangued by Matthew Dellavedova. It is Melbourne's ball. Kendrick races down the court and says, challenge that, coach, challenge that. And he gets a blank look. Get back out there and play.
Melbourne United hurry to get that inbound pass.
Ian Clark didn't get the kind of roll he was jumping for mid-court. Inside the final 4, 10 the difference.
No basket.
Basket is waved away, but Adelaide
24. Oh, sideline.
forced the foul on Marcus Lee, and it will be an inbound ball for Adelaide.
Andrew, 4 minutes to go, down 10.
Here we go.
DJ and Nick Marshall need to make themselves available outside the three-point line. Sunday Desh as well. Be ready to catch and shoot. Oh, boy.
Offensive foul again on Adelaide. First Montrez Harrell in that position. Now Isaac Humphries. Very similar.
Well, Marcus Lee he guessed right.
And we're going to get a challenge.
Mike Wells doesn't like it. He's going to challenge it. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm not sure how you're going to... It looked like he just stopped and hit him in the chest.
Replay center, we have a coaching challenge on the offensive foul line.
I think that's a charge, Derek. Derek,
hello.
I think I'm going to go opposite. I'm saying it's a block. I think the hands and the arms come down right there.
No, but there's already been the charge. It's not a hands foul. The call is an offensive foul, Derek.
Foul on the white 8 stand.
It looked like he just guessed right and held his ground, and a little out of control, Isaac.
The contact to the head might be an issue. That elbow, Drew.
But yeah, like the other player, the hit was first.
Yeah, and I think the left elbow goes to the chin, and that's going to be the problem for
The challenge is unsuccessful.
Chin up, Derek.
We've had tough ones today.
We have.
Got some numbers for you, boys, regarding Kendrick Davis. 30 points and now 11 assists. He's the first player to have 30 and 10 this season. The last Adelaide player to have 30 and 10, Julius Hodge, way back 2009, 15 years ago. Not even Jerome Randall had 30 and 10, and he was buzzing around the court as an Adelaide 36er. There's a name from the past, Julius Hodge.
Yeah.
So Melbourne in possession, up by 10.
Thank you. Your humour is appreciated.
Dellavedova. Beautiful finish, Matthew Dellavedova. The 100 is up for Melbourne United.
He can, as a guard, he can play that bully ball really well, where he just gets to his spot around the paint, and it's a really nice touch. A good play by Delly in the context of what they needed.
Nick Marshall sees it open up. Goulding got there. And there's a foul called on Melbourne.
And Nick Marshall displayed some nice athleticism, Andrew.
It's another one Adelaide prefer wasn't called, because Nick Marshall eventually put there was the foul, and then the next one he just taps it in for the easy 2.
And we move on.
After you download the NBL app, go to NBL Plus and unlock the ultimate fan experience. Fantastic numbers, game previews. Just scan that QR code and You've got the NBL world at your fingertips. Nick Marshall, after that show of athleticism, knocks down his first free throw.
Time to start pushing the defensive pace up the floor now, Andrew. I'd be getting into some type of press here, seeing if I can disrupt Melbourne United. Turnover, quick shot, anything. We got to speed this game up.
Yeah, but not kamikaze stuff where it's going to lead to easy points. There's still enough time. It's all just about stops.
They're doing a good job right here. This is exactly the balance you want.
Third game in a row. Melbourne have 100 points plus. 120 they put on Brisbane, 106 on Perth, 100 and counting against Adelaide. Dellavedova over the top of Humphreys, and then it's swatted away for Adelaide's Kendrick Davis. Vasiljevic pulls up for three. Rebound falling for Clark.
Well, three balls helpful, but that's a tough shot.
Clark at the other end. He grabbed the rebound. He finished with the scoring shot.
He's been solid this evening. Real factor in this possible win. He faked himself out.
Sunday Ditch. Let's go with a three ball. Again, it's off the mark.
Well, now Melbourne United can start to play the clock game. They don't need anything quick. They want to try and take as much time off, look for shots in that last 6 or 8 seconds, a little earlier than, well, I think this team Bigson wanted.
Almost had it. Instead, it's Clark, and he's had a big couple of minutes. Ian Clark. Another man to bring NBA experience to the NBL. 371 NBA games, Utah, Denver, Golden State, but it's been a fiery encounter and slap bang in the middle of it. Montrezl Harrell, thanks to Harvey Norman in the zone. Let's check in with what Montrezl was saying during those multiple flare-ups.
Yo, he pulled me. The initial play, when I took the charge, I fell. Bro pushed me. That's when I pushed him. It stayed from that. I slapped Buddy. I'm gone. I got to keep my head through all that. That's on me. Finish the game. We got 9 minutes.
We didn't see what took place because that's all part of the game. And the emotions when you're out there and the competitors are going at it, a little bit of push and shove. Hey, but what we didn't see is what we're going to be talking about, and it's going to be spoken about over the next week, is what took place with the fans on the sideline.
Now, however, to his credit, I like the fact that he accepted accountability in a highly emotional state as well. It can't happen, it shouldn't happen, but the first step towards getting things corrected is accepting responsibility, and he did that with his team.
Well, he certainly did with the actions with Rob Lowe and overstating it, but like I said, there was a missing piece to that we didn't hear.
It was the heavily edited, family-friendly Sunday afternoon edition of the Harvey Norman in the zone. And again, Adelaide come away empty as time becomes their enemy significantly. 104.90 next up, Brisbane, Perth. Brisbane 1-3 at home. Perth 1-4 on the road, so someone's record is going to improve as the Bullets take on the Wildcats next. Goulding stripped the ball by Detch. Marshall kicks it back for Davis. Back for Nick Marshall. Again, they're off the target. Points have dried up.
They've had good looks from the three-point line, Matty, and now we've got a tech foul.
43, technical foul, 1 shot, possession back here.
Technical foul on Chris Goulding.
Chris tried to use the argument that I was talking to the coach, but you can't say nasty things about the officials even when you're talking to your coach.
Especially not on a Sunday, Andrew. Well,
no shortage of fire and brimstone and controversy and trash talk. There's been an NBL contest with plenty of storylines. Most importantly for Melbourne fans, the headline will read, United win. equally more excitedly delivered than that in the media that I could come up with on the spot. But there are lots of offshoots, lots of elements to the story. And Melbourne are celebrating via the hand of Ian Clark.
And Andrew, if you look at the Adelaide 36ers and their prospects going forward, they've got to find a way to improve on the defensive end.
But what we have seen, though, is I think the favourites right now. Melbourne United, to me, at this stage of the season, with the way in which they're defending, overcoming circumstances throughout the course of the game, and doing it without Jack White.
They've got depth.
They've got great depth. So it's been a highly impressive couple of weeks, albeit with one exception, of course, is that when they got completely spifflicated by the New Zealand Breakers.
The first game this season to have a combined 60 free throws. United to the line 24 times. Adelaide 37 times. Flynn Cameron, he gave it plenty of air. He invited the fans to get off their chairs and ride with it all the way to the promised land.
Well, 19 of 36, 52%, rounded up 53% from the three-point line is impressive.
Flynn Cameron, 21 points.
Hang on.
But they're trying to get them up. They're working on the percentages, Andrew, both teams.
Vasiljevic can't score single figures, and Ian Clark says, hang on, this league is percentage-based at the end of it. Let's have one more shot. There it is. It went in. Was it in time? Young Blog from the corner has a smile from ear to ear, provided for by Ian Clark. There's an exclamation mark. A dramatic, intense afternoon at John Cain Arena finishes with Chris Goulding as the Foot Locker player of the game. 19 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Melbourne improved to 10-4. They take down Adelaide by 20 points. United 113, 36ers 93. We're back to wrap it up from John Cain Arena right after this.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Melbourne win the game by 20, but there will be storylines aplenty out of this. Montrezl Harrell ejected, Shea Illy ejected, Montrezl Harrell later spilling over with fans sitting courtside. Boy, there are some investigations and further discussions come out of this contest.
Well, anytime you're walking off trying to hide your face doesn't hold you in good stead to say, well, that you might have done something. We look at the stats, and the most important one is the 113 to 93. It blew out at the end. It was a much closer game than that scoreline indicated, but unfortunately, I think for the next few days, we won't be talking about the game. We'll be talking about that incident on the sideline with the fans.
Shout out to Flynn Cameron too, career high 21 points, 7 made 3, so big game from him.
He was outstanding off the bench, and he really gave them the spark that they needed in the second half. We've seen him do this earlier in the season, and it came at a very timely moment in an emotionally charged basketball game.
Well, on behalf of the entire team, thanks to your company at John Cain Arena. We still have a game to come. We're off to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. It is the Bullets against the Wildcats next.